After we learned a little bit about Excel and the basics that we need from Excel to work with Power Automate, it's time to create a flow that we can run it from Excel. If you remember, we could create and run a flow by pushing a button. It was something like this. For example, first name, last name, age, and finally we were pushing a run button, and it was running the flow, passing all these values to Power Automate flow. Now we want to make it a little bit differently. We want to replace this run flow form with a row in Microsoft Excel. So instead of providing these values one by one, we should be able to pick this row and say, okay, send first name, last name, and age in one shot from the values in this row in Excel table. Remember, it has to be a table. If it's not a table, we cannot do that. We cannot use a range or something like that to achieve this functionality. So here's the plan. First, we need to download Microsoft Flow for Excel add-in. So this is basically adds a feature to Excel that you can call Power Automate flows from Excel. Keep it in mind that you can only use it on the Excel desktop. So as of today that I'm talking, you cannot achieve this functionality on Excel Online. You have to run it from Excel on your desktop. Then we create an Excel file with a table and upload it to SharePoint Online or OneDrive. Again, if you want to call a flow from Excel, that Excel file has to be either on SharePoint Online or on OneDrive. You cannot push the button on your Excel, which is on your desktop, and make that call a flow. Then we create a flow that is triggered by Excel row and map it to the Excel file that we have on SharePoint. And finally, we call and test the flow from Excel. Now let's start by downloading this add-in to our Microsoft Excel. I open Microsoft Excel, and without really doing anything, I need to add the add-in to Microsoft Excel. To do that, I need to go to Insert, and I click on My Add-ins, and it takes me to add-ins on Office Store. At the moment, there are no add-ins, but if I click on Microsoft Stores, it gives me the option to search for the available add-ins. I can search for Flow, enter, and you will see the Microsoft Flow for Excel is in the top of the list. It is still in preview, so you may see some glitches, but the kind of excitement that I see in the users community about this feature, I think they will have good investment into it. So I click on Add, and I can click on Continue, and the add-in is added to my Microsoft Excel. And as you can see, it added a button called Flow to the Data tab in my Microsoft Excel. Got it? And we're good to go. Then I need to have some data here, and I create a table. So I copy and paste the data that I've already prepared. You can just create it for yourself, just a small range of data with a few records. I added just 3, but you can add a lot more to it. So in this example, I need to convert it to table. So I select all of it, and I go to Homepage, and I click on Format as Table. It doesn't matter which format you pick, just make sure that you say my table has headers, and you click on OK. Great. So now I have a table inside Microsoft Excel. What was the next step? Exactly. We created the Excel file, and now we need to upload it to SharePoint Online or OneDrive. So I go to SharePoint Online, any site that you have access to it. I click on Documents, and inside the documents or any other library, I need to upload the file that I just created. So let me just get the URL of this SharePoint library. I go back to Excel, and I save it. I click on Browse and just copy and paste the URL here. There is a chance that it prompts you for the username and password. If it does, just enter the username and password. And I just give it a name and I call it Excel demo file. And I click on save. Now the file is saved inside SharePoint and you can see the file here. So Excel demo file, and if I click on it, now it opens it inside SharePoint Online. Perfect. What was the next step? So we created the file and uploaded it to SharePoint Online. Now we need to create a flow that is triggered by Excel row and map it to the Excel file on SharePoint. Let's do it. I go to flow.microsoft.com and I click on create. Again, this is an instant flow because I just push a button this time from inside Microsoft Excel and it runs. So I click on instant flow, and if I scroll down, you will see for a selected row, I can click on this one, which is for Excel. And if I go to the top of the page, I can give it a name. I would say called from Excel. Great. So I just need to scroll down, click on create, and it is created. Now it tells me the location. I click on this drop down, Power Automate Workshop. If you don't have the URL of the site, just click on the enter custom value and enter the URL of the site. Document library that I want to add is going to be documents. The file, I need to pick it up. If you remember, it was Excel demo file. And the table, it is necessary. And now you understand why I converted that range to table, because this trigger needs a table. I click on this drop down and I pick up table 1. Remember, I didn't rename that table. Fantastic. So I click on new step and imagine I want to send an email. And I go with send an email V2. I want to send it to myself. Great. And for the subject, I really don't like this interface, so let me just reduce the size. So the subject is going to be this is received from Excel. And body is going to be all the items that we get from that table. So I can say first name, space, last name, and next line I would say this guy is, and I pick up the age. Years old. And that's it. I just click on save. So now I created a flow that is fired from Microsoft Excel. Keep it in mind, it cannot be fired from any Excel file. It can be fired from a specific Excel file in a specific location, and it is bound to a specific table. And that's why that file needs to be either inside SharePoint or Microsoft OneDrive. So let me click on save, and time to check the next step. I created a flow that is triggered by Excel row and map it to the Excel file on SharePoint. Great. Now it's time to go to Excel file and run that flow. Let's see how it can be done. So I go back to SharePoint. Remember, I don't have that add-in inside SharePoint Online. So I just close this. Okay, let me click on Documents. For this one, again, I need to open it, but not just by clicking on it. I click on these 3 dots so I can open this menu. I click on Open, but this time instead of opening in browser, I click on Open in App, Open Excel, and it is read-only, which is fine. It seems like last time that I opened the file, it's not just completely closed. I pick the row that I want, and I click on Data. I'm not really editing this. I just want to fire a flow for this row that I have selected. So I click on flow. This is the first time that I'm doing it, so I need to sign in. And now you see the flow that is bound to this Excel sheet. I can click on run, and it goes for the selected row. And if I click on continue, run flow, done. Time to see the result. Let me go back to my mailbox. And this is what I get from Excel. Jason Smith, this guy is 25 years old. We may want to run it again. I go back to Excel. Maybe this time we run it for gas and fare. And again, for the selected row, called from Excel, run flow, done. And again, I can go back to my mailbox, and you will see this time it's fired from gas and fare Jackson. This guy is 34 years old. And this feature is fantastic. Think about it. Instead of this dummy list, you may have a list of inventory. You can have a list of items that you need to review and reorder. You are reviewing a list of accounts that some of these accounts, they need to be acted upon. There is something that someone needs to go through it and consolidate. For all these rows, you can pick the row, quickly click on flow, run, and it starts a flow that can start a series of actions and entries into different systems. So by now, we learned how to fire a flow from inside Microsoft Excel. Now let's do it other way around.